We've all made mistakes in the past. I wouldn't say this is a mistake. I really enjoyed starting this YouTube channel, but today's gonna be a little bit different in the sense that I'm just gonna be reacting to my original video that I posted about a year ago, July 1st, 2024, first video I ever posted. It was 5 tips to becoming debt-free. And originally it was 2024, scratched it, changed it to 2025, but I have not rewatched this video since. As you can see, this was on a green screen when I had very limited space and I didn't like my background. This one is not green screen, but this one, again, limited on space. And I was like, you know what, screw it, let's do green screen. I didn't want to waste any more time overthinking it, so I just did it. The original plan of this YouTube channel was to be faceless, and I recorded this on my Pixel 7 like the day before I decided. I'm like, you know what, screw it, let's just get on camera. And it's cringy as hell. And again, even just looking at this photo, I'm like, what am I doing? So my palms are gonna be extremely sweaty through this video, as you can probably see. Probably gonna sweat a little bit from embarrassment. But the point of the video today, I'm rambling, I'm sorry, but the point of the video today is to see if the advice still holds up. And if it does, cool. If it doesn't, cool too, I guess. But let's go ahead and let's just get started with the video.
My fellow financial explorers, welcome to Dynamics of the Dollar. If you're ready to supercharge your savings and pocket some serious cash, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into our first crucial topic that many of us face: eliminating debt. Whether it's credit card, student loans, or any other type of debt, I've got some powerful tips and tricks to help you crush those balances, regain control of your financial freedom. So let's get started.
Okay, I'm just critiquing the video now, but I used to, the very first video, I recorded it on my phone in portrait instead of in landscape. So you can see my arms cutting off on the edges of the video, and it's so uncomfortable to watch. Anyway, let's continue. All right.
First, my name is KG. I'm a millennial who was born and raised in Canada to immigrant parents. Financial literacy was not a big part of my life growing up. I just knew I needed to get a job, make money, and that's it. So, like many of you, I made some money, but I probably spent more than I made. I fell into a lot of debt traps, and at one point I was in debt over $100,000. And it took me years to break out of it. What I'll be discussing on this channel is not groundbreaking information. I followed very simple steps that have been used for over a century. I'll be sharing them with you. But before we jump into these steps, let's talk about why it's important to tackle your debt head on. Debt can feel like a heavy burden, weighing you down and limiting your financial freedom. By eliminating
What I was gonna say is about the microphone. What do you guys prefer? Do you guys like this clipped on mic, or do you want a mic in front of me talking to a robot penis? Let me know. Let me know in the comments.
debt, you can reduce stress, improve your credit score, and free up money for savings or investments. Imagine the relief for a moment and the empowerment that comes with being debt free. I guarantee you that I am not speaking for myself when I say that being debt free feels like you're unstoppable. Now, are you ready to make that a reality?
Are you ready? Come on.
If so, let's go ahead and continue with the video.
Okay, number 1, create a debt repayment
First
plan.
step here is to create a debt repayment plan. Start by listing out all these debts, all of them, one by one. Include the balance, the interest rate, and the minimum repayment for each one. Then choose a repayment strategy that works for you and your lifestyle. 2 popular methods that I personally have used is the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. The debt snowball focuses on paying your smallest debts first, giving you quick wins and motivation, which is okay. So far that advice does hold up. Create the debt repayment plan. I'd probably adjust it to be more like, you know, just jot everything down to start. Like, where are you starting from? Like, you see the debt, you know what the debt is, you figured out what the debt is, but it's like, okay, how do I pay off the debt? Maybe I talk about it, I don't know. But so far, I think tip number 1 is pretty solid. Which is always nice. And then the debt avalanche, on the other hand, targets debts with the highest interest rates first, saving you money on the long run. So let me simplify that with an example. If you have a credit card with $500 balance and 15% interest, and a student loan with $5,000 balance and 5% interest, the debt avalanche would have you pay the credit card first. However, if seeing quick progress keeps you motivated, the debt snowball method might be your best bet. This is one that I've personally used. The key
True. That is exactly what I used. And it worked wonders. I did it. Here I am, debt free.
above all is to just stay consistent and celebrate each milestone along the way. Honestly, the trick here is that once you're done paying off one debt, don't relax and say, "Ooh, I have all this extra money." No, use that money you were using to pay off one debt and add it to the next debt.
Where did my arm go? Okay, no, for real. That is very true. It's very easy to be like, "Ooh, I succeeded at one thing. Let me just like settle on that or rest on my laurels." I don't know what the saying is, but I get it. I've been there, and yeah, use that money. It's like, oh, this feels great. I paid off the debt. Now I have $100 to my name. No, use that $100 on the next debt, because chances are, if you're in a big pile of debt, it's not just from one space or one place. Tip number 2, cut unnecessary expenses.
So next, let's talk about cutting unnecessary expenses. Take a look at your monthly spending and identify areas where you can cut back. This might mean dining out less, canceling subscriptions that you don't use, or finding cheaper alternatives to everyday expenses.
Yes, 100% agree with this still, mainly because it's like, again, step one, you realize what your debt is. You figured it out. You know which one's costing you the most. Once that step is complete, it's like, okay, how am I going to pay off this debt? What do I got to sacrifice in order to achieve the goal of being debt free? And to me, it's still pretty sound advice, besides my arms disappearing every few seconds. And I'm like, I'm sweating watching myself. And again, like I don't get embarrassed easily, but hey, I don't even know who I'm making this for, to be honest. I'm making this for myself, really. Maybe I'm gonna make this a yearly thing where I go back and just see if my advice still holds up. But so far, so good. Tip number 2, pretty solid. Tip number 3, increase your income.
So, our third tip here is to increase your income. Finding ways to earn extra money can make a huge difference in your debt repayment plan. Consider taking on a side hustle, freelancing, or selling items you no longer need. The more you can boost your income, the faster you can pay off debt.
Yes, because this is what you're going to come to a big realization if you're paying off debt. One, you realize what your debt is. 2, you're trying to figure out if you could pay it off with what your current income is. Some of us might realize, you know what, if I'm going to sacrifice a few of these subscriptions, maybe not eat out so much, maybe not buy designer clothes, all of a sudden I actually do make enough money to pay off my debt. And you realize, you know what, I can do that. But some of us on the other side of that might realize, you know what, I've sacrificed a lot from my budget, and I just realized I actually can't afford to pay off my debt and sustain any form of a lifestyle. So the only option you have is to increase your income. It's unfortunate. It's a reality that a lot of viewers might face. And yeah, let's see what I say. Let's see what I say.
I always take a quick look around the house and see maybe there's something I hadn't used in over a year.
I still do this to this day. Sometimes I'll just like find stuff. I'm like, do I need this? Is there a market for this? Will someone buy this off of Facebook Marketplace? I'll put it up so cheap. I just want to get it out of the house, to be honest. Even just looking around right now, I might want to sell this random remote. I don't know. Someone will buy it.
Some tech that I bought that I barely used, put it on, I'll put it online, Facebook Marketplace, Kijiji, whatever it is, and I'll just get rid of it. Others, of course, freelancing, but you can also just negotiate your pay at work, which is something that every single one of you should become comfortable doing. No one is going to save you with a handout, so we have to get used to these uncomfortable situations and really own it. I promise you, your boss is probably going to be just as uncomfortable as you are. There are tons of ways you can learn how to negotiate your pay at work. Google, you'll find tons of resources for that.
I might actually make a video on negotiation, just because I've been in sales for a long time. And let me know if that's something you'd be interested in watching, like negotiating your income or just negotiating in general. Big fan, enjoy it. Let me know in the comments.
For that. Alternatively, if you have a talent or a hobby that you can monetize, such as crafting or tutoring, turn that passion into profit. And don't forget about selling unused items around your home. I can't emphasize this enough. Those old electronics, clothes or furniture could bring in some extra cash towards your debt.
Preach.
Once your debt is paid off, you can start splurging. But in my experience, you probably won't want to once you've paid off your debt. The last thing you want to do is get back into that hole.
Very true. Like it got to the point where after I finished my debt, my mindset had changed so much that I was no longer interested in just splurging without at least questioning it. It got to a point maybe psychologically where I was questioning too much all the time, but that's a whole other side of the story. But at the end of the day, I feel like I found a nice balance now. Let's go on to tip number 4.
Another powerful strategy here is to negotiate those interest rates with your debts. Contact your creditors and ask them if they can lower your interest rate. Explain your situation and your commitment to paying it off. You actually might be surprised on how some companies are willing to work with you, especially if you have a good repayment history.
This one I might consider changing just because it's like, as a sign of good faith, maybe they'll lower it if you've been paying it on time for the last little while. But most credit card companies don't really give a crap who you are or what you're trying to do. My other suggestion maybe instead would be a consolidation. Find a line of credit that you get approved for. Line of credits typically have significantly lower interest rates than your student loans or credit cards. So what I did was I consolidated all of that into one spot and collected interest rate, a lower interest rate in one spot. That way I knew exactly how much I needed to put towards it every single month, every single pay, and it's all in one spot. And that's where I would get the email saying, you know what, hey, congrats on paying off your student loans. In reality, yes, I did pay it off with the line of credit, but I still have to pay back the line of credit at lower interest. So technically I saved money. I'd probably have to do the math on how much money I saved on the interest rate, but that's probably what I would replace tip 4 with. Consolidate your debt, as much of it as you can, into one spot. We'll skip ahead to tip number 5 because I am sweating so much right now. Utilize windfalls wisely.
Finally, let's talk about utilizing windfalls wisely. I see this every single year. People,
Dude, what was with my hair? I feel like I've had 3 different hairstyles since I've started this YouTube channel a year ago.
look at their tax return.
Also, the chain out. I don't know, maybe I was trying to perceive some sort of wealth or something, but whatever. Let's keep going.
And they'll spend it all. Or they won't get anything on tax return and say, hey, how come I didn't get anything? But let's be honest, if you got that money throughout the year, you would have spent it anyway. Whenever you receive unexpected money, such as tax refunds, bonuses, or gifts, resist the urge to splurge and instead put that money towards your debt. These windfalls can make a significant impact and accelerate your progress and take chunks out of your debt. Chunks is just a very uncomfortable word. I'm sorry I said it.
I was just gonna say chunks is a very uncomfortable word. Okay, totally agree. Windfalls is where people are probably the weakest. They'll get their tax returns, or I don't know, stumble across like $100. I don't know. We've all been there. Like stumbled across money. You're like, sweet, extra money, and then we splurge it because you're like, oh man, I've always wanted to get X product. I've always wanted to get myself a, I don't know, designer shoes or that newest iPad. I don't know. And all of a sudden, you get this windfall of a tax return. That amount of money actually covers half the cost of that new thing that you wanted. All of a sudden, you're like, you know what? I'm halfway there. Might as well buy it. It's very easy to fall into the trap of just spending with a windfall. We've all been there. But once you've gotten to this point where you're on that debt repayment journey, again, your mindset hopefully will change at this point, and you realize, you know what? I'm going to take that windfall. I'm going to split it up, put some of it in my emergency savings, some of it in investments, some of it away for, I don't know, other parts of my spend like vacation. And then the rest of it, I'm going to splurge. I do this all the time. Every single year for tax season, I'll get maybe a little bit of money back. All of that I'll split up evenly, and then I'll leave myself a nice little something like, I don't know, go out for dinner or buy my wife a gift or something. Something that I can splurge with without feeling guilty afterwards. So there we have it. My top 5 tips that I gave last year. And again, maybe I'll make this a yearly occurrence and it'll be less cringy watching it every single year. But hope you enjoyed it. The tips still, for the most part, hold up. And if you're interested in checking out another one of the videos, YouTube thinks you'll like this one. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.